Hey there, and welcome to Becoming a Bowhunter. I'm your host, Matty, and join me and our guests as we take the quality of meat back into our own hands. Searching the wild for free-ranged animals to harvest as ethically as we can. I interview a variety of specialists from the bow hunting community to help fast-track your journey as a bow hunter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this chinwag on one of your favorite topics in the world, bow hunting. So, I mean, one thing I do want to jump back to is your self-taught tuning. I think we kind of covered up on a lot of the stuff for traveling. I think that's really insightful for anyone who is looking to travel, bits and pieces that you can take and how prepared it actually you should be when you go out on a big hunt. But when it comes to self-tuning, how'd you go about learning that?
Me, well, I said I've been doing archery. I'm 42, so I've been doing it since I was probably 14.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been probably 12 and a half, 13. And then I've pretty much done it full time. It was just finger shooting, a bit of recurve till I was probably around 19, and then started chasing girls and playing a bit of footy, as most young fellas do. And then retired from footy, and then got right back in archery. Still done it here and there. So I never shot sights until probably 2011. So I actually went to I was on holidays up in Brisbane, went into Abbey Archery and sort of picked the bow that sort of I wanted and sort of suited me, and then got the sight and release aid and all the bit of gear, and then obviously watched a few videos and whatnot. But I was still really, really green. I probably still am. There's blokes like probably Ian Summers and Alan Bowman and Brad Murphy, they've probably forgotten more than what I'll ever know. So but it's always handy talking to people like that and other people to work on ideas and whatnot, to work out how you want to do it and read, and a few little YouTube videos and that. But basically, I just done what worked for me and my logical way of thinking. So I paper tuned first, and I bare shaft paper tune. So I went at the fletchers on my arrow, and I get electrical tape, and I shoot 4-inch killer veins.
Yep.
So I wrap for 4 inches electrical tape down at the start, where the start of the vein is, up towards where the vein to 4 inches the vein would normally finish, and it slowly gets thinner up to thicker, to mimic what the weight of the vein does.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll weigh that, and I'll weigh exactly the same as my hunting arrow.
Yeah.
And then I'll bare shaft. I have a good paper tuning stand I made, and a good little target block that's adjustable for different people to paper tune for different heights. So then I'll have my paper on one line, and I'll stand on a 3 metre line from it.
Yeah.
And then I'll fire through the paper. I'll draw some lines on the paper, so I do have a bit of a reference of where I'm going to put my pin. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to shoot for the same hole. Another little trick while I just get to that one, when I'm paper tuning, once you start getting really close to bullet holes, sometimes it's hard to tell what's your knock tear and what's your field point tear. Mm-hmm. So I'll get a little like a bit of red Loctite, that you thread locker it's called. And it's red. You can get it in red and blue, but I've got the red one, and I'll put a little drop of that on my field tip, and I'll fire that. So when it goes through the paper, it's got a little red mark there. Then you'll see the knock tear, which might be to the left or right or wherever it might be.
Oh, that's smart.
You'll sort of know whether it's knock left or knock high. It'll help you determine that a bit quicker and a bit easier.
Yeah.
The little tip that I found it really works good, and then hopefully you get the little red dot right there, and there's no tears at all, which I strive to do. So I firstly do that at 3 metres, and then probably just going back another step there as well there, Matty, I'll have my bow checked. I've got a bow press here that I brought, and I'll have timing all done on my bow. I shoot a Hoyt Carbon Spider and a Hoyt Carbon Element.
Uh-huh.
So I'll have my timing done, and it'll be all in spec. I don't really worry too much about my axle to axle. I just worry about it's going to be on the poundage I want, which one bow's 70 pound, 1 pound's 80.
Yep.
So I'll have it on roughly around at 80 pounds, and then I'll have the timing right. If it's out by freaking an eighth of an inch or something like that in the axle to axle, it doesn't really worry me. I'm not too technically expert in whether it's a big thing or not to be like that, but as long as it's from when I've talked to a few people, as long as it's in the poundage, like Alan Bowman and Buff Summers and that, as long as it's in the poundage that I want, and it's time, the draw length and the draw length is set. So the brace height and the axle I'm not too worried about, as long as it's the poundage I want that I want to shoot, and then the timing. So that'll be all sweet. Then I'll check my rest. Now I shoot a quad rest.
Yep.
Now another little tip there, that with the quad rest, because it doesn't touch the arrow, I get what you call a foot powder spray. Some people use lipstick on their veins or whatever they might do, but I get there's a spray called Tinoderm. You get it from your local chemist. There's two types from memory. One's got a white lid, and one might have a blue lid. Now I get the one with the blue lid. So when you spray, I spray that on my fletchers, like the last 6-7 inches of the arrow.
Yep.
I spray my fletchers all around it, and it leaves like a real fine white powder over the whole lot. So then I'll fire that arrow once I've got the bow all timed right, and then I'll set my rest up. I'll fire that arrow not through paper. I'll just fire it from a couple of meters into my Reinhardt target, and then you look at the arrow, and it'll tell you if you're getting any flex contact on your rest or part of your bow or your cable. So that little white powder, it'll leave it plain. It'll be like having sand on your table, on a nice white table, and right in your finger across the table, you can have a line. It'll be that visible to see with this spray powder, which is sort of a thing that I'm not sure if I read about it or heard someone talk about spraying stuff on it, but that's what I sort of found works best for me, is this Tinoderm with the blue lid. The bow's timed, the rest is timed, then I start paper tuning, and I'll do it at 3 meters, and I'll roughly do it by eye, set up I have my arrow at 90 degrees to my string, and I think it's 13, 16, or whatever it might be for your centre shot for a Hoyt bow. So I have it roughly all set up with that. Do the 3 meters, get bullet holes, then I'll go back to 6 meters. I'll do the same thing at 6 meters till I get bullet holes. Doing minor adjustments, only do one adjustment at a time, whether it's so if you've got a knock high or knock left and a high, only they get rid of the knock high first and then worry about the left, or vice versa. So only do one adjustment at a time, and I'll get that till it's bullet holes. So that's all 6 meters. Some people go back even further, but I find that sort of works for me. As I said, I'm self-taught, by no means no expert. So whether it's right or wrong, or it might not work for you or any one of your listeners, but that's how I do it. Once I've done it 6, so then I'll go out to 20 meters and I'll start sighting that bow in. Now, how I sight it in, because I know the arrow's leaving the bow as best as it can. At that stage. The bow's tuned, the rest is all sweet. Then I'll sight that in for 20 meters. Now, what I do then, I get a half-inch line, texture line, probably about 2 foot long on a big cardboard, and I'll set that horizontal. And I'll go back 20 meters, and then I'll, as I'm not sure if your listeners all know, but most of the ones who have done tuning before, you follow your arrow. So if your arrow hits low on the line, well, then you move your sight down. I'll gang adjust the whole sight. I won't just move the pin individually, because I'll probably set the pin in the housing before I start where I want in to be. I don't want it up the very top, and I don't want it in the middle. I want it somewhere about 3/4 the way up as my top pin, because I have a 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. I've got a 5-pin sight. So I'll set that 20 metre pin up high, and I'll gang adjust that until I hit till that 20 metre line's hitting on that half-inch line. Then I'll go back to 30 metres. I don't worry about the left and right at this stage. I'll do the 20 metres till I hit that line, and then I'll come back to 30, do the same thing. I'll keep on hitting that line, adjust it to just a gang adjust the height. By then, I'll start again. I'll do the 20 metre pin, the gang adjust. That's all done. And then once I do the 30, then I'm moving the pin.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Moving the pin on the second. So then I'll do the 30, do the 40. Probably when I get to 40, then I'll change out and I'll change my line to a vertical line.
Okay.
Half inch. and then I'll aim for that at 40 metres. And once again, I don't worry about the height on that line, as long as my pin's holding that line, and I'll gang adjust the whole sight left and right at 40 metres.
Yeah.
Until 40 metres then is smack bang on that line. Then I can go back to 50 and go back to 60 and be confident I'm still going to be not missing my target sort of thing. And that's how I sort of set my centre shot at 40. You probably can go back a bit further if you wanted to. Yeah. But I jump on about 2/3 of your maximum range I'll generally go back to when I do my centre shot. That's all sighted in, all sweet. Then what I generally do then, so I shoot a Hoyt and I've got a yoke. So I do a little bit of yoke turning, which is I'm not sort of up to date, too technical on that once again, but I know if I'm getting a knock left hair, I need to tighten up my left yoke. That's all I know. Yeah. And vice versa, which is generally for most. I'm right-handed. Most right-handers, once you're doing bare shaft sort of thing at further than, because I end up going to, when I do my yoke tuning, I'll probably stand at about 16, 17 metres, and I'll fire 2 fletched arrows with field points, and I'll fire 3 bare shaft with the electrical tape on them with different colours. I've got a red, a white, and a black one. Okay, yeah. I'll fire the 3 different arrows, and then hopefully I'll get them going into my Reinhardt target. They're hopefully side by side at the same angle going into the target. If not, generally they'll be knock left with the bare shaft ones at about that 16, 17 metres. Well, then I'll tighten up my left yoke a little bit, which puts a little bit of cam lean on my top cam on my Hoyt. Yeah. And then fire, and then do that again. And now a little does a lot, so you probably only need probably a few turns at most, and you don't want to be having too much cam lean where you might run the risk of derailing your bow or something like that. Yeah. So I generally don't have too much. So I'll do that, and I'll end up getting my arrows in side by side. I might do some minor adjustments with my rest, if I might, but generally it's by that stage they're the same height. It's only going to be that my bare shaft is going to be knocked left a little bit. Yep. So then I just said, I'll just put a bit of left yoke turn on that, and that'll straighten that arrow up. And then they're smacking side by side with a fletched in a bare shaft. And then if you can get that, and then screw on a good quality broadhead, that should go exactly where your field tips are going. So that's how I sort of tune my bow in. It might seem like a long time to do it, so to speak, but I sort of find any good tuning method does take time, and it's you can't sort of shortcut. You got to put in the yards. No,
definitely. How long would that take you to go through?
It depends. Like I might do that over a few days, sort of thing. It's especially when you're sighting in. You get especially like the bow that I mainly shoot with is 80 pounds, so you don't want to be firing a couple of hundred arrows a day trying to sight that in or tune it in, sort of thing. So you only get tired and your form's gonna drop off. So I generally do it first thing in the morning when there's less wind about. Head out the range or something like that, and then sight it in. With the paper tuning, I can do that in my shed. I've set up a good bit of backdrop there with a conveyor belt target and a little adjustable height. Yeah. Which once again, when you're sighting, when you're paper tuning, I generally stand and have my bow arm at 90 degrees to the ground as well. You don't want to be aiming down at your paper on the ground, sort of, so to speak, because it's gonna stuff you up a little bit, sort of thing. If you shoot down a hill, so 90 degrees to where you're standing, I shoot. And so it might take a few days probably to do that, do it properly, especially when you're sighting in. If you're trying to sight in a 50-metre pin sort of thing, and you've already fired 20 or 30 shots, you might start getting a bit tired, and then you sort of question yourself, well, was that me then, or was it not shooting? Yeah, so I generally I might do 1 or 2 pins a day, sort of thing. Might do the 20, and then 20 metre, and then the 30, and then then I might tinker around and make a few arrows or do something, or have a rest, or maybe come back later, or come back the next day and then do the 40-metre pin and the 50. But by doing it that way, or any which way you might choose to do, if you can get your fill points in your broadies like that, it just gives you so much confidence. Then
definitely.
When you're shooting the broadheads or shooting at a critter, which you can't take lightly, that arrow is going to go where you're aiming, so to speak. Yeah. Good little one, probably to go back again a little bit further on that. which is my logical way of thinking. And I've also sort of read it as well, but it does make sense. When you're drawing back your bow, you should be able to draw back with your eyes closed, get into your anchor point. And I like to have, like most people do, have a secondary anchor where I put my knuckle on my earlobe, and then my stick just touches my nose when I'm in my anchor. So you should be able to draw back with your eyes closed, get into your primary and your secondary anchor, then open up your shooting eye if you shoot with one eye closed or however you might shoot, and then you should be able to look through your peep and see your sight housing or see your sight ring.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to see well within your sight ring and only see your pin, and you shouldn't be seeing a lot of daylight outside of your sight. If you are doing that, well, then you got a couple of options there. You either got to change your peep size. You might need to go smaller or bigger. You might need to move your sight further or closer to your sight, so you're only seeing your sight ring. Or you might need to move your peep up or something like that. So you're not moving your head. That just gives you so much more, to me anyway, so much more confidence and that repeatability. Yeah. And which in turn will make you more accurate. Like, if you can imagine if you've got to move your head each time or lift your head up or further away so you can see your peep, see your sight ring or your sight through your peep, well then that's going to create inconsistencies in your form, and then you're going to see that on the range or out in the field hunting. So I'd recommend that as well.
Yeah.
So if anyone, one of your listeners there, just put an arrow on your string, point at the target, pull back with your eyes closed, settle in your anchor, then open up your shooting eye. If you're not looking through that peep and seeing just your sight ring only, you adjust that up and you'll see the results. Improving that. So.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy just even moving your peep up and down, what a difference it can make. Like if it's just slightly off, you're always going to be shooting off.
Yeah. No, that's it. So you just want that repeatability, which will in turn give you a lot more accuracy, and which will in turn give you confidence, and you won't look back.
Mate, yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you for going through that. That's it's quite an intricate system, and that's why so far I've just taken my bow to other people, because putting the time and effort into it is something that I haven't had the time to research it and then go and do it. So for me, I just went and saw Jake Gasrowski, and he kind of went through it all with me on the day, which is awesome. We didn't paper tune because I was just about to change my arrows over, but we went through everything together, and then I just went and readjusted my sights when I got the new arrows, and that worked well. That worked really well.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's it. Look, I'm in Western New South Wales, so the nearest archery shop to me is probably Gunnedah. I think Archery Dixon, he might be there. Lloyd, it's probably near. He's 6 hours away up that way. So there's no archery shops near where I am.
Yeah.
Or anyone I can sort of count on, unless it's by phone, because I've got a few numbers now, a few contacts over the years where I can ring up to get some advice sort of thing, but it's still pretty much I've got to do it on my own bat. I can't just take my bow into a shop and get them to change me peep or change me string. So I've had to learn all that myself. Hence, that's why when the Aussie dollar was good, I brought a bow press, and he can also check my timing as well. So press the bow in and also check my timing, and then obviously press it in and do a few little adjustments to get that all sweet. So I'm pretty much sort of self-taught. And all that, I probably know Hoyts more than anything. There's a few other bows that I have sort of helped and changed the odd string here and there, but I probably wouldn't know much about probably like say a Matthews bow or how to tune that. Like I like the idea of having a yoke.
Yeah.
To tune them left and right tears out, so to speak. So I definitely like that. And then just the tunability by having a bow with yokes. And if we're talking to people like bush summers as well, like with the Bowtex and stuff like that have two yokes, they're even
exactly
easier to not easier, but more tunability, more options to help get out any little form issues you might have and stuff like that, and get you shooting as best as you can with that particular bow.
So have you had both of these? How long have you had these bows for? Your two Hoyts?
I've had the Hoyt Carbon Elements 2011 model, so I've had it since then. And then I've only got a 27-inch draw. So I can't really increase my draw if I wanted to get more speed, so to speak, unless I got a broader speed bow or something like that. So I ended up getting a 80-pound Hoyt Carbon Spider in 2014.
Yeah.
I'm a short little nuggety fella, or not too short, but I'm sort of well built, so it's easy to pull back 80 pound for me.
Yep.
So that's why I've gone to 80 pound, and then I've got 2 different arrow setups with that one. I prefer to shoot on the stiffer side with the arrows. So out of my 70 pound bow, I shoot an Eastern Axis 300 spine arrow.
Yep.
With a 4-inch killer vein and a 125 grain VPA broadhead with a little CDR punch hood. It's like a little sleeve that goes over the end of the arrow.
Yep. Okay.
I'm lucky enough to be sponsored by VPA, so VPA broadheads, as well as one of their associates, Ray Pillerman of Custom Razor VPA, he's called. So I shoot 2 types of broadheads, mainly 2 blades, 125s out of my 70 pound bow, and then 175 grains out of my 80 pound bow. If my 80 pound bow, I shoot a 260 spine arrow.
Yep.
It's a little bit heavier head, a bit more poundage as well. So I shoot go to 260 spine out, and my arrows are cut at 27.5 inches, so they're even a little bit stiffer again.
Yep.
So it's a really hard hitting all around for me. I think my 80 pound bow, it weighs in at, or arrow, it weighs in at 566 grain. It's an all around sort of hunting arrow for me. I can hunt anywhere from rabbits up to buffalo with that particular setup if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then I have my 70 pound, which is a little bit lighter, which is still good enough to go hunting the pigs and goats and whatnot, or any deer species I might want to hunt. If I was going to hunt buffalo, I'll probably use my 80 pound instead of the 70.
Yeah.
Just for a bit extra kinetic energy and bit of punch that particular setup has. So, I also dabble in a bit of recurve as well, which I haven't shot that often. I mainly do use it for a bit of target practice at the local archery club.
Yeah.
Because I can pick the bow up, like the compound bow, and shoot that pretty accurately. Even if I haven't picked it up for a few weeks or something like that, whereas recurve is a bit different. So I try and shoot that down on the range. For that particular one, but it's a custom-made Huntsman recurve.
Okay, cool.
It's so it's a pretty beautiful looking bow by Mark Kimber. He's a bowyer. I don't think he makes them anymore, so they're pretty sought after. I've had numerous messages over the years of asking if I wanted to sell it, but no, we ordered them for the family, that one.
Yeah, definitely. So with your bows, with your compound bows, how many times have you changed the strings since you've had them?
I've probably, on my 70 pound bow, probably at least 4 times. And on my 80 pound bow, it might be on my 3rd string now.
Yeah.
So I generally change that depending on your shooting. If you're doing a lot of shooting, you might change it once every year. But I'm probably once every 1.5 years I might change it. Or if it's doing a lot of hunting, you'll see it deteriorating here and there. So I shoot a killer string. Yep. It's made by Peter Morfitt, who I'm not associated with or anything like that. I've never even met him. I've only ever talked to him on the phone, but he makes a really, really nice string called a killer string. And I've had no issues with his strings at all over the years that I've used. Once you get it set up, they're pre-stretched and made as all good custom strings are. He's reasonably priced and a quick turnaround as well. So, which a lot of people I think use him for that purpose. You can ring him up or today or whenever, he might get a message and he'll have that string out to you by the end of next week or earlier.
Yeah, wow.
So really good like that.
And so with the pre-stretch, like, do they actually give any more by the time you get to them?
They may, but I generally find when I'm putting it on, that's when I generally you'll be doing all that sighting in and checking and whatnot. So there might be you might get a little bit more. So I haven't had too many experience of any other strings. Maybe I have a winner's choice. I think I might have used to run on my bows. It was the same thing with them as well. But I found with Pete's, you sort of, the only issue you might have is probably just lining up your peep so it's nice and square.
Okay.
But generally, I haven't had any issues with that. When you first put them on and you're doing your shots, you'll sort of train that peep a little bit, as you do with any string, I think. Yeah. So your peeps, you'd be turning your peep a little bit maybe, but it's to the point now where I don't have to just have to clip on and pull straight back, and it's always lined up straight. There is a few little things like Ian Summers, I believe, he likes to put a little bit of D-loop in the top of your string between your peep and your top cam there somewhere, so you can actually pull that little bit of a D-loop up or down.
Yeah.
That'll twist in your string, which will twist your peep. I don't have that, but that's a good little idea to do. So that's easily then, so you can sort of train your peep, so you don't have to probably twist it. You can just probably move the little bit of D-loop up or down.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so that sort of works. I've never done it myself, but it's definitely a good little idea if you are having troubles with a peep lining. But yeah.
And with the VBA broadheads, which ones are you using typically? 2-blade, 3-blade?
Two blade. I like. In Australia, we're sort of lucky with the hunting that we do. We can hunt all year round, because all our species we can hunt, they're all feral. So not like the States. So I like the longevity and the usability of a 2-blade broadhead.
Yeah.
I haven't had too much to do with I do have some 3-blade VPAs, which I have used and dabbled with, but I just much prefer, especially with my method of sharpening, is probably one of the main ones. It'd be pretty hard to use a 3-blade broadhead.
Yeah, definitely.
A little work sharp knife sharpener. So I'd prefer to use a 2-blade. Just for the ease of sharpening. And this how I sort of tune and work. It just sort of suits me, and instead I can get them flying really good, impacting the same as a field point. So I don't see a need to change to a 3-blade or anything like that. And said I can get them razor sharp quite easily, and I don't have too many issues with no losing animals due to not cutting right or whatever. Like obviously a 3-blade. Will be some advantages with an extra blade cutting more blood vessels to bleed quicker and the like. But as I said, I've had no issues with the 2-blade with a well-placed shot in Australia on any of the critters I've hunted, and over in Africa as well. So
yeah, definitely
critters over there.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's good. That's good to know. So, I mean, one last question, I guess, because we've gone a fair way. I'm actually thinking I'm going to split this into two because it's been good. It's gone.
There's plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
Another one down the road. I think I've done one with Craig from Hunting Camp Down Under, and he said the same thing. We can probably do another one like further on down the track. There might be, like you might get messages, or I might get messages of something else you can talk about. So anytime you want to do one, mate, we can get some more information out there to listeners and sort of educate people as best to our knowledge of what to do and where to seek advice and whatnot from. So I always get messages on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that. And I always answer and help out as best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll find someone who will and put that person on the right track.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a cool world, the whole Instagram world. There's definitely a lot of conversations happening behind closed doors via the messages, and I think it's really great because I've learned so much through that same system, and then vice versa, being able to help a whole heap of people who are just coming into bow hunting, so they're coming to me because of becoming a bow hunter, and just ask me those basic questions around the bow or the arrows, and if I don't know anything, I'll send them straight on to someone like yourself or Boof or anyone in Australia that I know is going to do them a good job. So one last question that I did have for you, Scotty, was based around your hunting and just what has been... Actually, I've got two more questions. Firstly, I want to ask you this one. What are you doing with animals? Are you purely a hunter? Are you a meat keeper?
Mainly a hunter, to be really honest.
Yep.
So where I hunt out in Western New South Wales, I'd never eat a pig.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen pigs out there crawling through the carcasses of dead cows.
Yeah.
And horses and stock like that, and seen them eating carrion, dead roos. So I definitely wouldn't eat a pig. It's probably more. I have tried goat, which I'm not a big fan of, but mainly to be really honest, I'm a trophy hunter. I like probably just the adventure of it, just the travel out to the places we go. The mateship, being with like-minded people hunting, and then having a good old yarn around a campfire, and then and getting nice photos as well. Like I love the more I'm bow hunting, the more I like photography, and I've got lots to learn. I can get the odd photo of the stars and the like. But when it comes to the really knowledge of during daylight hours anyway of getting that perfect shot, I've got a lot to learn. I like getting the photo side of things as well, whether it be just an action shot or a landscape or of a critter as well, which I try to show in the best light possible by cleaning them up as best I can, and getting a nice photo, which is sort of what I like to do. If it's a trophy, well and good as well on that side of the thing. So, but ultimately in the end, primarily a bow hunter because I like hunting and being in bush and doing something you love.
Exactly. It's a good passion. It's a good thing to be obsessed with. When it comes to your favorite hunt, can you take us through what would have been? I'm sure there's going to be probably too many to choose from because anyone who wants to head across and check out your Instagram, it's just jam packed. But take us through maybe one of your most memorable hunts, just to finish up with.
Bloody probably had lots of good hunts. Like Africa really comes to mind. That was really good. And a few deer. I'll get back to the other little question. Look, the deer that I have got, I've taken most of the meat that I could take. Don't let the venison go to the waste, but the old goats and the pigs, they sort of waste. Or the pig might be utilised for a pig bait or a bit of dog tucker. Back to your question there. There's so many to start off with. Even from back when I was a young tacker, getting my first billy goat. That's still as those 30 odd years ago now, still plain as day. Even though the tank he come in on, I know the angle he come on. I know the stalk. I stalked around to one side of the tank where he come on, and he was actually over where I was. So they had to sneak back around and come up over the bank of the tank and shot him from about 12 metres from I was on top of the bank, water's edge. So that was pretty cool. But one of the good ones I probably had one with my mate Greg Sampson and another fella called Frank Morbeck from Denmark. He was back in February 2017. Frank had been doing a bit of guiding for Wayne Priest when I went up there in for the Raw during 2016. So, and he'd never hunted pigs. He'd done a bit of guiding in that over in New Zealand, hunting over there, but he never hunted pigs. And he's a recurve hunter. So and Luke was with me on that particular trip as well with Breesy. So invited Frank to come down. He flew down from Denmark. He come down from minus 10 to 15 degrees over in Denmark, and he come over to our west, and we hit 50 degrees.
Fire out.
He'd averaged 45 for the whole week we were there, and in one day hit. The amount of game we encountered during that heat, good billies, good pigs. It was after a really good wet winter in 2016, where there was a lot of rain about and a lot of game bred up. So come summertime, like every tank we'll go into, we're finding bedded pigs left, right, and centre, getting good goats, and with the three of us, it was just a good all round trip. You know, we'd hunt hard, hunt all day. Like sometimes we weren't always together. Luke had been out with me a few times. He knew places to go. Yeah. He knew he's not as good as I, but he knew his way around good enough. But it was just an excellent all round hunt. Lots of game, lots of laughs. Lots of little shenanigans and tricks that you sort of do, which I'm sort of I'm quite partial to.
Bit of a schemer, mate.
Yeah, just a few little funny tricks and tell you a few stories about this recent Cape trip up there that we had with an old rubber snake that I found and I got my hands hold of, and then also this goanna that I might have finger posted my Insta story. Old Matty Moore, who's sneaking back after borrowing some toilet paper off me, and I had my phone out and we'd seen his goanna lying in the grass, and old Charlie was with me. He didn't see it. He stepped on it, and I was looking for it because I didn't see it go up a tree, and I ended up finding it in some long grass where it's normally they run away or run up a tree. But anyway, this one just curled up like a snake in the long grass, and I knew Matt was going to come up, and so I sort of got off the little pad we were on and stood right around on the opposite side of this goanna about 5 metres from it, and I knew Matt was coming up the game trail towards me, and I thought, he's going to come straight to me. So I've sort of moved opposite the goanna, so it was a straight line me and him straight past the go winner, and then Matty, he come up near trotting this go winner, and I've started laughing straight away, half a metre from it, and he's looked back. Luckily, he's sort of attuned to the bush a little bit. Didn't really scare him like he's never seen one before, but he sort of moved a couple of quick steps quicker, and I just started laughing, and he fell over and blacked out from laughing. It was that funny, but that's probably the one trip. That one with Frank and Luke. It was a really awesome trip.
Oh, that's unreal. And I think that's what it's really about. Like, when you're getting to go out and do it with people, that's where it gets really exciting, is that you get to tell those stories at the end of the day after you've gone out and you've had a heap of fun, and like having those little bits of fun out in the bush, like it's stuff that you never see when you're in the city or even when you're at home. So it's just kind of cool to get out with a few friends and get after it. Really, it makes for a good weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's it. And back to this year, that was 2017, 2018. Luke and we had another awesome trip. And then this year, 2019, I invited Joe Frater, a VPA pro staffer from the States. I invited him out and for a week, and said I didn't shoot me bow. I didn't shoot a critter for the whole week. So it's not always about the hunting and the killing thing. It was just I was with a good mate. We had a good time. Good laugh, a few beers, overnight sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was just about having a good time and living life the best you can, which is which I like doing, and taking a good trophy is just a small part of that. Just being out in the bush and relaxing away from work, and grind sort of thing. It's just it's all what I like to do.
Oh, mate, that's awesome. That's been a really cool insight, and I think, for the listeners, you probably know by now, but I'm probably going to split this into two, which is awesome. So, Scotty, you've had 2 podcasts with me already, which is great, but I'm definitely sure we've got space for another. So, where can people follow along? Apart from on Instagram at Scotty_live_the_hunt, where can people find you, mate?
Just on Facebook. Just Scott Meadows. There'll be a photo of, I don't know what, it might be my fallow buck, my first fallow buck this year. It might be my photo on Facebook. And then on there, as I said, on Instagram, Scotty Live the Hunt. I do have a YouTube channel, which is same thing, just Scott Meadows, and it's got a photo of me with a good boar I got with Wayne Priest. Yep. I've got a few videos there, but I haven't done any for a long time. It takes a lot of time doing the editing, and
it really does. Hey? And that's actually linked through your Instagram page as well. People can go straight to your Instagram page, and the link's right there. So yeah, they can get onto that if they want to as well.
Yeah. I do envision probably doing a bit more, and I've actually been. There's a fella called Jesse Farr. He runs a few pig dogging magazines mainly as well, but he's got what you call an app called UHunt. Okay. It's basically like Facebook, but it's mainly for hunting. So you're not going to get, like as you see on Instagram and Facebook, all these censored photos and stuff like that. It's primarily for hunters. Yeah. For hunters. So that's a good little one to get on. It is mainly pig dogging at the moment. I think Jesse's trying to branch out into the broader hunting community, fishing and bow hunting and rifle hunting and stuff like that.
There you go. So that's just an app?
Yeah, app called UHunt.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll jump on it now.
Capital U Hunt, and then from that, I think he's got some TV channels, which he gets a bit of footage from pig dogging. I've done, I think, one episode with him, and it's got a few hunts that I have filmed, and some that I've self-filmed, as well as a couple more that I've got. I think he's got another one coming out soon. He's got some of my Africa footage, which he can probably do a couple of episodes on as well. So he's got like a TV channel you can subscribe to. I don't know all the details of that to subscribe to it, but you can find it on his UHunt app, or I think he's got a website as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's another platform there that's slowly building momentum as well. Yeah. Facebook and stuff, but as I said, it doesn't get censored as much as what Facebook and Instagram would, but that's the main ones. Yeah, YouTube and then Instagram and Facebook, mate. You get me, but anyone wants to shoot me a message or whatever, if I can help out, I will. It's no worries at all. So
perfect, dude. That's been really cool, super insightful. Like I said, thank you very much, dude.
No worries, Matty. Much appreciated, mate.
That's it, guys. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us this week on Becoming a Bowhunter. You guys can follow along with the journey at becomingabowhunter.podcast on Instagram and Facebook. You can also head across to the YouTube channel, which is Becoming a Bowhunter. So guys, follow along. We've got a whole heap of different recipe videos up there, as well as different snippets from along the way, along the journey so far. If you guys do enjoy the show, please pass it around. if you got something out of this show, then I'm sure another bow hunter, another friend of yours would get a hell of a lot out of it as well. So please share the love, share the podcast, and thank you so much for tuning in.